Adam Smith, a Scottish philosopher, introduced the influential concept of the invisible hand, a metaphor that remains ingrained in economic history. His notion suggests that individuals pursuing their self-interest can paradoxically benefit the overall welfare of society. His major work, The Wealth of Nations, stands as a cornerstone in modern economics. Within its pages, Smith reflects upon economics at the beginning of the Industrial Revolution and addresses topics such as the division of labor, productivity, and free markets. Adam Smith lived in a time of upheaval and change in Scotland, which was marked by significant poverty and the dominance of the aristocracy. During these years, Scotland underwent an economic and intellectual revolution influenced by the Enlightenment and the increasing impact of capitalism. It found itself in a phase of political and economic change following its union with England in 1707 to form the United Kingdom. Born on June 5, 1723, in the Scottish coastal town of Kirkcaldy, Adam Smith pursued studies at the Balliol College of the University of Oxford. Later, he taught philosophy at the University of Glasgow, where he spent most of his academic career. He is associated with the Scottish Enlightenment, alongside philosopher David Hume and the inventor of the steam engine, James Watt. Individual freedom, prosperity, and the scientific progress were central in this intellectual movement toward modernity. Benefiting from a generous annuity and a professorial income, Adam Smith enjoys financial security throughout his whole life. While fulfilling administrative and teaching responsibilities in Glasgow and Edinburgh, he spends a portion of the 1760s in France as a well-paid private educator, engaging with influential figures like Voltaire and Jean-Jacques Rousseau. Nonetheless, most of his time is spent in his homeland of Scotland. By pursuing his own interest, he, the individual, frequently promotes that of the society more effectually than when he really intends to promote it. Initially published in 1776, Adam Smith's magnum opus, The Wealth of Nations, underwent 4 subsequent editions until his passing in 1790. Regarded as the cornerstone of a novel scientific field, political economy, its release marked a huge success, with the initial edition selling out within a matter of months. At the heart of the book lies the concept of the invisible hand, suggesting that individual pursuit of self-interest can ultimately yield the maximum economic benefit for society. Adam Smith's central message is that this system doesn't depend on goodwill. Rather, it leverages the self-interest of individuals in a way that ultimately benefits society as a whole. The invisible hand represents the collective actions of numerous individuals driven by their own self-interest. This collective action generates outcomes that appear as though an invisible force had orchestrated them. Consisting of 5 books, The Wealth of Nations delves into topics such as division of labor, currency, pricing, wages, land rents, and capital. Yet, it's not just a description of economic facts and procedures, but also an analysis and critique of the times, including his critique of mercantilism. During the era of absolutism, spanning from the 16th to the 18th century, the financial needs of monarchs and rulers underwent significant changes. The newly established army, the expanding bureaucracy, and the grand palaces of the rulers faced substantial expenses. Consequently, rulers endeavored to exert influence over the economy in order to increase state revenues. Their strategy to increase economic strength was to maximize exports and minimize imports. Achieving this meant imposing hefty taxes on goods entering the country. The few goods that actually were imported primarily consisted of inexpensive raw materials that were processed in manufactories to transform them into expensive products which could then again be sold abroad. Smith takes a firm stand against mercantilism. He argues that mercantilism only benefits the interests of the aristocracy and not the greater good. Instead, he advocates for unrestricted free trade without government interference, convinced that economic prosperity, societal well-being, and the welfare of humanity will flourish through free trade. High taxes on imported goods only hinder this development and lead to isolation from other countries. Another key concept in The Wealth of Nations is his observation of the benefits of the division of labor. Adam Smith observed that when workers specialize in specific tasks within the production process, their efficiency and productivity significantly increase. By focusing on a particular aspect of production, individuals become more adept at their assigned tasks, leading to a higher overall output. Additionally, this specialization often drives innovation and the refinement of techniques and technologies, further amplifying productivity. In The Wealth of Nations, Smith utilizes a compelling example to demonstrate how division of labor and specialization contribute to heightened productivity. In Adam Smith's example of a needle factory, a single worker could only make a limited number of pins in a day. However, when different workers specialize in specific production steps, productivity can be greatly increased. One worker can focus on drawing the wire, another on cutting the pins, and so on. Eventually, each worker manages to produce several thousand pins daily. This example illustrates how division of labor and specialization can increase productivity and lead to more prosperity. In another anecdote, Adam Smith illustrates how specialization can contribute to innovation. It is about a boy named Humphrey Potter who worked in a factory. Humphrey's sole job was operating valves on a steam engine by pulling 2 strings. At some point, he noticed that the engine's connecting rod coincided with his string-pulling rhythm. Ingeniously, he attached the strings to the engine's connecting rod, allowing himself to play while the work continued seamlessly. While Smith sees work as a means to satisfy society's needs and desires, he also acknowledges that individuals have a natural aversion to mundane and repetitive tasks, commonly found in mechanical work. He highlights that work might hinder people from fully expressing their creative abilities, potentially resulting in discontentment. Adam Smith realized that the workforce is the key factor for a nation's prosperity. A nation's economy hinges on human labor. The more efficiently it harnesses this labor and involves a greater number of people in it, the higher the potential for increased production. Smith wasn't a revolutionary nor a prophet of an ideal market, but he recognized the natural power of the market, which self-regulates. Competition and the potential for profits motivate people to develop innovative ideas and products, thereby contributing to the overall prosperity of nations. With these fundamental ideas, Smith has influenced future generations of economists, including Milton Friedman, an advocate of a free market economy and winner of the Nobel Prize in Economics. Adam Smith was convinced that qualities like empathy, impartiality, and a strong sense of justice framed within a legal framework can restrain the selfish tendencies of human nature and contribute to the greater good. Despite his optimistic vision of a fair society, achieving it remains an ongoing endeavor rather than a fully realized reality. It's important to note that while Smith's work eloquently portrayed the dynamics between the state, market, and society before the Industrial Revolution, he should not be solely associated with free market ideologies. He was a scholarly visionary who imagined a society founded on freedom and civic principles, distinct from the influences of religious and aristocratic powers.